This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Relationships take work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help someone we care about. We'll go out of our way to treat other people well, but how often do we give ourselves the same treatment? Y'all know I love a hammock, and I did get some hammock time in yesterday. But some people don't like hammocks, Lee. And sometimes a hammock isn't enough. This month, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to take care of your most important relationship, the one you have with yourself. Whether it's hitting the gym, hitting the hammock, or even trying therapy, you are your greatest asset, so invest the time and effort into yourself like you do for other people. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours, so give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. Right now, No Dunks listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/nodunks. That's BETTERHELP.com/nodunks.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, April 4th, 2022, and I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, thanks to the power of technology, Tas Melas.
Hey, everybody. Congrats to those Gamecocks. That's what I was watching last night. Don Staley.
Cox.
What a dynasty.
We've got the top shot hot boy himself, Trey Kirby.
Hey, yo.
And making the magic happen, pushing the buttons, pulling the levers. Guest producer, Andrew Schlecht.
Oh, we got a Poku triple-double last night.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, he got Chris Paul on the rip-through move, I saw.
Got him on the rip-through. It was an overall weird night in OKC.
No JD, of course, here today. He is still on vacation, and in case you were wondering, no, we haven't heard from him, so that's good. Also, Lily, I guess he's made his way down to Aruba, if I have that correct, because his kids are on March break, but we won't be having Lily here today, but I think later on he's joining us later this week, so, be excited for that. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, share the show. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us across all social media channels and get yourself an athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. $1 a month deal on right now. How's everybody doing though, Tas? Let's check in with you. You're still down in Disney World. Have you seen the Plutos and the Mickeys and the Minnies and the Minions and I don't know what else there is.
Yeah, that's exactly what they say when you arrive. Come check out the Plutos and the Minis and the Minions. Yeah, I'm here. I've got some glittery ears. Everybody's having a great time down here. We're having fun. We're having a blast.
Kids are loving it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Have you run into Bump yet?
Have I run into Bump?
Yeah, a guy we know called
Have
Bump.
I bumped
I
Bump?
saw that he's down there, yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully I run into Bump. Yeah, I haven't run into any No Dunks fans, anybody I know in particular. A few strange looks here and there, like what's this dad doing? What's that dad doing? But that's about it.
Okay. And Trey, how was your weekend? You get up to anything? You go fishing or you just watch a lot of TV with all this basketball, maybe some WrestleMania? What'd you do?
My dad and stepmom are in town, so we watched basketball for 6 hours straight on Saturday night. True sicko mode with Steve Kirby telling me about how rebounds aren't that big of a deal. It just means the team is missing a lot of shots. An overrated stat, he told me. I said, "You're sleeping outside, Dad."
Wow.
You had some hammock, old
You had
man.
some beef about the big beef.
Yeah, exactly right. A little beef. But it was nice to see. We did see a Final Four big beef Baycott. Andrew, I'm sure you're going to bring up Jalen Horde's 20 rebound game at some point for another weirdo game over the weekend. So yeah, dad in town, just talking smack to him at any possible opportunity.
And Andrew, did you get up to anything?
Oh, working in the yard, jumping on the trampoline with my kids.
Hey,
Wow.
Yeah.
No injury.
You do any flips?
Yeah.
No. No, my 7-year-old's working on a pretty sick front flip right now.
There we go.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, good luck. Before we get into the winners and losers of the NBA weekend, We did have a wedgie, guys, and you can roll it here, Andrew. Friday night, it was the Magic's Brazdeikis from the corner, sticking it pretty deep in there. Nice.
That's a good one.
Great shot of it there. The broadcast. Yeah, good stuff. This was the Raptors Magic game again on Friday night. So, look, our 34th wedgie of the season. I checked Wedgie Tracker. We're on pace for 38. Tas, you said it might be one of the worst years ever. Yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What is the lowest wedgie total we've had since tracking? Do we know? Is it like 42?
I think it's been over 40 at least for every season. I'd have to.
We've had a 40. We've had a 40.
140?
2017, 2018.
Wow.
Which is a full season. So just a terrible year.
Yeah, well, we do count the playoffs, so we could still eclipse that. Maybe we get another one here in the regular season, though we're running out of time with that too. There's like a week of basketball left until we get into the play-in games and then eventually the playoffs. But we do count
I did forget that wedgie took place in Orlando. That's what everyone was talking about here at Disney. Did you see that wedgie?
Oh, it's going around the park, was it? Nice.
What a name. Ignas Brazdeikis. You see that guy?
Yeah.
Just wedged it in there. This is the season for names. Isaiah Livers, Ignas Brazdeikis. Just great names out there. Jalen Horde. They're everywhere.
Horde on the boards. I love it. Okay, winners of the NBA.
That's why Delano Banton was not very impressed. Did you see his look?
Yeah, in the background there. Yeah.
Not impressed.
I think he knows that it's not been a great season for wedgies.
Right.
He's like, he's doing the mental math. He's like, we're just on pace for 38 even with that one. Come on.
Yeah. Trey, why don't you get us started here, though? Winners of the NBA weekend. Later on in the show, we'll get to losers. We've got tweet of the night and all that. But what do you got, TK?
Well, Giannis had a pretty good week last week. Back-to-back 40-point games, made huge clutch plays against Eastern Conference contenders. As a certified Giannis guy, I was feeling pretty good. Thought he might pull away for the MVP here at the end of the season. Not so fast, my friend. Huge weekends for both Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. 2 games for both of them. Here's what they averaged over the weekend. Jokic went for 38 points a game, 18.5 rebounds a game, 7 assists on 67% shooting. Embiid, weak weekend for him. 36.5 points per game, 15.5 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists, 57% shooting. And he probably has an even bigger game if he plays a whole bunch more minutes on their Friday win. But the most important stat to me for both of these players, wins. The Nuggets went 1-1 over the weekend. They lost to Minnesota on Friday. That's a tough one. But they beat the Lakers yesterday. Nuggets have been playing .500 basketball for the past couple of weeks here, which is not great for Jokic's MVP case, considering we're all going to be looking at that wins number just as much as, these incredible stat lines they're putting together. So any win helps Jokic's case for sure. Plus, Utah right now is definitely struggling. We'll get to them a little bit later. Denver now up to 5th in the Western Conference. A comfortable 5th looks a lot better than barely 6th, I think, when it comes down to voting, because it seems kind of unlikely that Denver can get all the way up to home court advantage at this point. But still one fewer win for the Nuggets than for the Sixers. Sixers went 2-0 this weekend. Their wins were against the Hornets and Cavs, a couple of teams they should beat. But with the Bucks going 0-2, Philadelphia now up to 3rd in the Eastern Conference, tied with Milwaukee, and Philadelphia has the tiebreaker. So they've got the stats. They got the wins. Who had the highlights? I'm leaning Embiid for this weekend. He had 5 blocks against the Cavs, and I think they were all comical blocks, like smashing it off the backboard or his head is at the rim. He also had this really slick touch pass to James Harden. Got James Harden his first basket of the game against the Cavs there. So stats, wins, highlights. These two had it all. We still got an MVP race. It's going down to the last week of the season, which is this week. Season ends on Sunday. That's enough time for a few more 40-point games from these guys. Embiid says, I don't know what else I have to do to win MVP at this point after putting up 44. He's like, I've played a ton of games. I play defense. Our team is winning. I score a bunch of points. Maybe people just hate Philadelphia. I think it's more the fact that there are just 3 legitimate MVP cases right now. Nobody seems to be slowing down. You just get to be the man for 1 week at a time. It was Giannis last week. It was both of these guys, Jokic and Embiid, over the weekend. We shall see who is the final boss here during the last week of the season, because that might honestly determine it. Like if Embiid scores 50 points a game for the rest of this week, maybe he wins MVP. If Jokic goes for a triple-double every single night, maybe he wins MVP. Seemed like it could have been Giannis as of Friday. And then as of Monday morning, all three in the mix.
Yeah, what do you think, Tas? Is Trey right here? This is still, first off, undecided, and it could come down to these final couple of games if there are some monster performances, maybe in some nationally televised games for one of these guys to steal from the other, or do you think it's still maybe Jokic's to lose because he is the favorite according to Vegas?
I still think it's undecided for a lot of voters. They're taking into account this last week. And I think Joel Embiid should thank James Harden for not really doing all that much since he's been there. I mean, he's sort of up and down, and that's allowing Joel Embiid to continue to dominate numbers wise and stay in, that heated race, whether you put him at 1, 2, or 3. I thought James Harden would take away some of Joel Embiid's numbers. And I think deep down, Joel Embiid would like that. I know Embiid wants to be MVP, but James Harden is there to be his Jimmy Butler V2 since Jimmy Butler left. I think he would like him to take some of the burden off of him, but he's letting Joel do his thing. And I agree with Trey that the place where Jokic finishes in the standings is pretty important, even though they've got 47 wins and the Philadelphia 76ers have 48 wins and the Bucks have 48 wins. That 48 wins for both those teams looks a lot better being at the top of the conference, being 3-4 right now. They could still finish up to 2, but the Nuggets look like they're in 5th. They're very unlikely to make home court. So even though it doesn't matter whatsoever that the other guys have one more win, I think that's going to hurt Jokic in some voters' standings or the way some voters look at it. But I would take Jokic if it was me. But I'm sure everybody's waiting for this last week, and that's why it's such a damn good race.
Yeah, it could be the closest MVP finish we have in like 15 years. If it is sort of the first place votes, at least when it comes to MVP, are split somewhat evenly. Maybe they're not. Maybe Jokic gets still, 65 to 70% of them. But right now it feels like any three of these guys could get a hell of a chunk of the first place votes. And maybe it will come down to what happens here in the final week. I sort of hope what you're saying, Tas, isn't true, though. I mean, literally they have the same record. these guys on all three of these teams with their amazing numbers. And Jokic, I think we would all agree, has less to obviously play with in the sense like he's missing his key guys all season long and they're still there. But we're talking like 1 or 2 losses here. Like it's not a 10-game gap. It's not like a team running away with the number 1 seed in the East, like the Suns are doing in the West. It's just like that to me should almost be removed off the table. But I will agree with you. I could see voters like just saying, well, they just got in, they just avoided the play, and I have to knock them for that. That seems silly to me, Trey, because again, like the Bucks and Sixers they're not 15 games better than the Nuggets. Not even close.
Yeah, but I mean, you're splitting hairs at this point, really. And to me, I understand the argument that Jokic has had less to play with this year, but that's more about the team than it is about Jokic when it comes down to it. It's like, Brook Lopez was missing for the entire season. Ben Simmons was out for the first 2/3 of the season. You can make the same sort of narrative case for any one of these guys, just like you're going to be able to make the same basic standings case for kind of all of them. Because like Tas is saying, we're all right around the same number of wins. So I don't know. Playing your best at the end of the season certainly matters. People are going to include everything when they're making their choices here at the end, because that's what you're supposed to do, So I don't know. I mean, it's certainly going to be a factor. I'm kind of with you, Skeets, that maybe it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it is. So I don't know. It
is interesting that Aaron Gordon with the Nuggets is kind of just cast aside as another guy, I guess, because he should be his number 4 or the number 4 guy on the Nuggets. I mean, the Sixers came into the season with Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris as his number 2. Is that any different than Jokic and Jokic and Aaron Gordon, I should say? I don't think it's all that different. I know.
Come on, Jamal Murray was scoring like 50 points in playoff games. Like you're losing.
Yeah, but he's not there. Yeah, I'm saying he's not there this season. Yeah. Ben Simmons isn't there this season, and so why is it any different? I picked Jokic at the beginning of the year. I thought he would be the guy, but I do think their number 2s are, for the majority of the season, on a very, very similar level, and it's just historical. The guys that finish 5, 6, 7, or I'm sorry, the teams that finish 5, 6, 7, 8 don't bring home the MVP unless you're Russell Westbrook. This isn't baseball. This isn't A-Rod. It just doesn't happen all that often. So it hurts that he is going to finish without home court advantage, even though it absolutely shouldn't. And he would still be my pick. But yeah, just, the people will say, well, he should have just got up there in the top 4. Look at what Luka has. Luka's in the top 4. Who does he have to support him? Who is his second best player?
Right.
And so, you can go on and on. It is splitting hairs, as Trey said. It's a fun splitting hairs.
I like that this MVP race, Trey, correct me if I'm wrong, feels like an F1 race, because I'm just as invested in like the top of the 1, 2, 3 MVP race as I am in like who's going to finish 4th, 5th, 6th in this MVP race. I can't believe I care, but I think there's like something fun about like, where does Booker end? Where does Luka end? Where does Tatum end? It's similar to an F1 race.
The best of the rest. Yeah, I guess the difference is there's never 3 teams competing for the actual number 1 spot there. So, I mean, I would have to think that Luka moved into a solid number 4 over the weekend with the way he took apart the Bucks yesterday. I mean, statement games certainly matter. Like, people want to say it's for an entire season. It is. Every game matters the same. Game 4 matters the same as game 78. It doesn't. I mean, it's impossible to, we definitely remember the things that happened in the first half of the season, but playing your best at the end of the season, playing your best in the second half of the season, it matters more. Showing up in a game against the Bucks after we just saw Giannis take down Kevin Durant and Joel Embiid in consecutive games last week, to see Luka dancing on Giannis, stepping back and hitting a 3, that puts him at a number 4 spot. So I'm with you, Skeets. The 4 spot on the ballot is hotly contested right now. And every game matters at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Luka, look, you're right, has a case at that 4th spot. So does Booker, of course, being the best player for a majority of the season on the best team by far in the league. So, I mean, Tatum might get some votes there too. We'll see. Tas, let's keep it going, though. We'll be talking about the MVP race, I'm sure, all week long here. But what do you have for winner of the weekend?
Well, the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat, is playing like the number 1 team. This is good for all of us that the Heat are getting it together, because they had lost 4 in a row, but now they've won 4 in a row. They're cooking. They look like that Heat team that just found their groove in the bubble, where they're cutting all over the place, ball movement, player movement, and shooting. It looks like they're ready for the playoffs, because they went into Toronto on Kyle Lowry Day and dismantled the Toronto Raptors without Jimmy Butler. No Jimmy in this game, and they just feel like they're ready for the playoffs, because part of the playoffs is just finding your rotations, and especially a team that's got to do it by committee. There's no superstar to take over. And Max Strus has cemented himself in the starting lineup, and I think that's really, really helped as the shooting guard over Duncan Robinson. He had 7 big threes, leading the team with 23 points on Sunday against the Raps. And I think he is this year's Duncan Robinson. You just need a guy when you're doing it by a committee to attract the defense when there's not a lot of 3-point shooting on the team. Jimmy doesn't want to do it. Obviously, Bam doesn't do it. Tucker will do it from the corners, and Kyle will do it at times, but their starting lineup doesn't have a lot. And I think they're going to hunt shots for him at the beginning of the games like they did with Duncan Robinson in the bubble. And, he's that guy. He's kind of like a Duncan Robinson light, an undrafted player. He's only started 14 games in his career, but I think he'll be big in the postseason. And then Victor Oladipo off the bench was big against Toronto, 6 threes and a huge dunk, looking like a version of Victor Oladipo we haven't seen in a long time. Not quite the best Victor Oladipo we've seen, but he looked real good. So this Heat team needs everybody to contribute. They found a way to get the shooting guard spot going by taking Duncan Robinson off, putting Max Strus in there. And I think everybody who loves basketball should be excited, because the Eastern Conference has one of their the hotter teams at the top, to go along with Philadelphia and Milwaukee. It's good to see the Heat at this point, because I think they've got the best Giannis Antetokounmpo defense in the East. I think they could match up with Joel Embiid pretty good, with Bam Adebayo at the center spot. So this is a team that can win, and starting to look like that 2020 bubble team where everything came together is what they need, and it sure looks that way.
Yeah, Miami 114-109, like you said, on Lowry Day. What do you think of the festivities there, Tas? And, the standing ovation he got, and all the video packages that I'm sure you saw, and him out there with his sons. And, just even I guess the press conference dressed in purple there, and he had his championship ring on. I thought it was well handled by the organization, of course, and the fans, and then Lowry getting the victory in the end over Van Vliet.
It was a special day for Kyle Lowry. You knew that coming into the press conference and showing you here on the stream team. I mean, to be all bedazzled the way Kyle Lowry was, he doesn't show up like this usually. He's got the specs going, the huge ring. He's got the bracelets like he's Trey Kirby. He's got the watch. I mean, he's blinked.
Yeah.
You don't see Kyle Lowry do this. I don't think he's the type of guy to wear sunglasses indoors. He did take them off for the press conference, but yeah, he looked snazzy. So this was a special day for him. He said post game that it was one of the most emotional days of his life. Yeah, he really embraced it. He loved it, and the guys, I think they won that game for him. Really.
It was pretty crazy. Him and Van Vliet had like 17 points in the first quarter. I was joking it was like a WrestleMania event there, the two of them, because Lowry actually got off to a decent start too. And, then he was just setting up guys. And like you said, Strus and Oladipo hitting all these threes. But yeah, Trey Kirby, man, Lowry is just beloved by this Raptors franchise. And rightfully so. I mean, you're talking to one of the biggest Lowry fans there is. But I was cheering up.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I like that his tribute video had a charge montage in it, which included him taking a charge in the All-Star game, one of the most hilarious Kyle Lowry moments out there. And it included the time he tried to go through George Hill's legs, not dribbling, his actual human body. So for me, one of the greatest video tributes of all time. I don't know that I've watched every single one of every player that comes back, but all-time great Raptors don't always get the greatest applause when they return to Toronto. This was obviously way different, and they smashed it. So, yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, it's a good point. A little different than Vince's first game, Tas, when he came back to Toronto, from what I can remember. And I wonder, will this continue every Lowry game here on out? Obviously not the video tributes and stuff like that, but just the warm, reception from the crowd. I think so. And he has said he wants to retire a Raptor too. He's on record saying that. Now, is that the one day Paul Pierce sort of going back to the Celtics thing, or is that, actually finishing out his career as maybe in a, looking far ahead, but a Haslam type role where he's almost like a coach, but he's on the bench. We'll see. But I assume that does happen because the guy loves Toronto just as much as Toronto loves him. That's damn sure.
Yeah, Toronto, like a lot of cities, likes their lunch pail guys, and it was just fitting that Kyle Lowry took a charge with a minute 40 left on Pascal Siakam, and they went and there was a video review on a Kyle Lowry charge. It was just beautiful. I think schedulers would do a favor to everybody in the league, including Kyle Lowry and the Raptors, if as he plays out this contract with Miami, to schedule his return every April 3rd, because it's official Kyle Lowry Day. It's officially Kyle Lowry Day in Toronto. The mayor anointed it so. As he was going back to the locker room, he had this little framed note, the official note from Toronto, from Mayor John Tory, that it's officially Kyle Lowry Day every April 3rd. So that'd be nice. Get a little parade in there every April 3rd.
So he didn't get. I didn't see it. You don't get the key to the city on just being named Kyle Lowry Day. That's a different thing, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he already has it for all I know. It's possible. Yeah.
Kawhi gets the key. Just kidding. He doesn't get anything.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Again, the video was great. I thought even to give a little love to the Sportsnet crew too. I was watching pregame, and they had a bunch of stuff too. Elvin Williams was doing the voiceover for that, and it was pretty slick. It was really well done. So the Heat get a win of the weekend from Tas because they are rolling, especially after they have the incident with Butler and Spoelstra and Haslam. And then we're like, no big deal. Don't worry about it. Then they lose a bunch of games. Everyone's like, uh-oh, was that a big deal? But then, they've turned it around here and are at least playing pretty good basketball as they head into the postseason. Spoelstra didn't make that trip to Toronto as well because I believe he was in health and safety protocol, so he wasn't there. So way to go, medicine man, Chris Quinn getting the W. I think Lowry got him the game ball. That's what I read from Eric Kareen on The Athletic today. There you go. Winner of the weekend for me, Trae Young. The Hawks, in general. But the Hawks won their most important game of their season. 122-115 on Saturday night down at the Fortress. They beat the Brooklyn Nets. That's huge, obviously, in terms of the seedings in the play-in. Gives Atlanta sole possession of 8th place. Nets have dropped to 10th. But this was Trae Young doing some pretty special things. I know we debated And we were a little conflicted, all of us here. And, if we include Lee on Friday's Drop Podcast, we were making our all NBA teams. Does Trae Young warrant a spot on one of the all NBA squads? We were sort of split on that. And I'm happy I had him in there after this one because he had 36, 10, and 6. And that's like not even that spectacular for him. But he just took over late. He sort of buried the Nets. He hit a go-to floater there on back-to-back offensive possessions late, put the Hawks up 5, with about a minute to go. And then he capped it off with, I'm sure you guys saw this, just a devastating 3 over Patty Mills. And then I think he changed his little ice tray shimmy on this one a little bit. He tweaked it a little bit. It was a huge 3. Like I said, he hit these huge shots down the stretch. Durant had 55 in this game. Kyrie had a bad one, took a lot of shots to get to his points. But Trae Young, man, I think he really is deserving of one of these all-NBA positions. At least get him on the all-NBA third team because he's been one of the best guards in the league. Even if his team, the Hawks, who do have a winning record, have sort of disappointed because, they go so far last year and then they come in with all these expectations and they got off to a bad start. But yeah, TK, I don't know if you saw the other Trae doing some things here in Atlanta. I thought he was pretty special.
Yeah, that was a strange shimmy. Very weird. I don't think I'd ever seen that before. He kind of looked like, move your body like a snake, ma. Wiggling back and forth. And then he remembered, I actually have my own signature celebration. I should go into that as well. Trae Young, his all-NBA case is going to come down to whether or not DeMar DeRozan is a guard or a forward. That's basically it, because DeRozan is certainly ahead of him. And I don't know, we were all going through our teams and it's like, there's a bunch of really good guards. The forward spot is a little bit more up in the air this year. Kawhi didn't play. Paul George was out for a huge chunk of the season. So there are certainly some spots there. DeRozan was a guard during the All-Star break, but he could easily go to a forward to make some room. Because I do think that Trae Young has probably, I don't know, this is a tough call. It's going to be between him and Donovan Mitchell, assuming that DeRozan goes to forward. The Jazz are falling apart right now where the Hawks are kind of playing their best basketball of the season. They're going to at least finish at 500, maybe better than 500, ahead of the Nets, which, I guess is certainly something at least. So maybe the Hawks have had a disappointing season on the whole, but they've been better in the second half of the year. And Trae Young is going to be a top 5 guy in total points and total assists for the year. He definitely has a good case. He does a ton for that Hawks team. It's just going to come down to how other players are voted, kind of, I do believe, because he's right there. At the very least, he's going to be on your all-NBA 4th team, I know for sure.
That's right, yeah. And I think, Tas, you had him with me there on our actually all-NBA teams because we had DeRozan as a forward. You can get a little crafty there. And I think, people will likely have Curry in as one of those guard spots. Of course, Luka, Booker. Chris Paul, I'm always confused of what the voters do with Chris Paul. I had him in. I think a lot of you guys did too. Would I be shocked if people leave him off? I guess not. I don't know. But we'll see. Anyway, anything to add to which was probably one of the better wins for the Hawks this season, Tas, there on Saturday night?
I do not like watching the Nets when they decide to not play defense whatsoever. Now, they had an excuse that Bruce Brown was out and a couple of their other guards were out, not necessarily their defensive guards, but Seth and Dragic, and they gave up 49 free throws to a Hawks team. 49 free throws, not going to win a basketball game when that happens. And they just, float in and out of giving effort. Now, they could still finish way up there in the play-in tournament standings. I'm showing you here the play-in tournament standings plus the games remaining here. I stole it from, I think, Chris Kirshner's article in The Athletic, somewhere on The Athletic anyways. And the Nets have the easiest of skeds remaining, so they could pop up into 8th, even above the Hawks. We shall see. But if they're going to play that way, then they're going to get bounced in the play-in tournament. They obviously have all the frickin' talent in the world with Mr. Kevin Durant dropping a 50-plus point game this weekend. No big deal. But you can't lose games like that.
Well, yeah, you saw there in their schedule. They play the Rockets, the Knicks, and they play the Pacers. 3 of their 4 games. It's just up to them. If they want to play defense, they'll win those games. But those other guys, those other teams, with Jalen Green firing away and the Knicks playing all their young guys and the Pacers with Halliburton and stuff, they're going to be like, hey, can we just play pickup ball here and just see who can score more? And it's they could win those games. The Nets, man, their defense is non-existent. And It's not a given that they get up there, is I guess what I'm getting at here, especially when you get into the tiebreaker situations, which don't favor them in a lot of those. So, yeah, that was a big Hawks win there, at least to have maybe the chance to lose one of the first games, Trae, or not, to get in there as a 7th seed possibly, and then have another go at it there, taking on the winner of 9-10.
Yeah, I mean, the Nets don't play defense, but the Hawks really don't play defense either. So it's going to come down to, can you score a whole bunch of points in these playoff games? You would rather have 2 chances at it than 1 chance, which the Hawks should probably have. And hey, getting 41 wins is nice for the overall season, right? To get to a 500 record, it looks at least a little bit more impressive. My only other thing from this game, I read so many recaps that kept mentioning Danilo Gallinari getting like a ceremonial glass of wine for having a really good game off the bench in this one, but I can't find a picture of him like having this glass of wine. So if you see it, please tweet it to me.
Okay.
I read about it. I thought it was in the locker room from Nate, but yeah, you'd think
like poured him a glass or something.
Yeah,
sure.
Because they feel good about their bench. Like they have been so bad finding their rotation, and if they have any semblance of a bench like they did last year in the postseason, then this team can do something. But they have not had that whatsoever. DeLon Wright was great off the bench. Gallinari is their matchup master. If somebody switches on him, just to shoot over top of them. And so I guess Nate was really pumped that him and Onyeka Okongwu and Lou Williams were firing away and just playing well, so much so that he's got to get them a glass of wine. Just one glass of wine, though. Yeah, I thought it was for the bench, but that's weird. Yeah,
1 glass for the entire bench to share. That's really frugal.
Like communion
there.
At church, you gotta pass it on.
Yeah,
the chalice, man.
All right, I know we got some other winners here. Tas, who else you got on your list?
Well, I think the Golden State Warriors, they got to feel good. They had lost 4 in a row going into an important game Saturday against the Jazz, and they sit at 3rd in the West, and going into this game, it looked like they could drop even into the bottom half of the bracket where they wouldn't have home court advantage because they had a lot of teams nipping at their heels. And Steph Curry called this game the biggest game of the season. And even though he was out, he was watching because he knows that they have to bring it all together. And Klay Thompson told assistant coach Kenny Atkinson he was going to have a big night, but it sure didn't look that way. They're down 16 in the 4th with 7 minutes left. And then we got a Warriors-like explosion. You know, when they can go on those 15-0 runs, and we got one. They hit 4 straight threes on 4 consecutive possessions. And for them, it's got to feel good that most of it was Klay. He hit one on the right wing, and then Wiggins walked into one. And then Klay was feeling so good that he hit one sort of leaning to his left. It was just a real tough Klay shot, and then Klay from the top. So 4 consecutive possessions. And then after a couple more possessions, Klay hit another 3, and then Jordan Poole added a 3. So it was an 18-0 run, and they finished off the Jazz. And it just could be one of those moments where, you know, it could be a turning point for them because, they had lost 4 in a row. They don't know where their rotations are coming. And there was a huge hug from Klay and Jordan Poole at the end of this game because Jordan Poole has solidified himself as a guy who's going to end games. So he has come up and has been a star for this team. He had 31 in this game against the Jazz. He's got a 17-game streak of 20 or more points. Yeah. That's phenomenal for that dude. So, we've been talking about them. What is their rotation? We don't really know, but I think we know their end of game rotation is going to include Curry when he comes back, Klay and Jordan Poole, and then one of either Otto Porter or Andrew Wiggins at the 4 with Draymond Green at the 5. And Draymond Green is feeling good enough that he played in a back-to-back on Sunday night, and the Warriors crushed the Kings. So it looks like the Warriors, after those 2 wins, will have home court and, sort of looking like themselves a little bit more. And they're sitting at 3rd in the West. They could drop to 4th because the Mavericks are nipping at their heels. But 3rd means they wouldn't face the Suns until the conference finals if they were to win 2 straight rounds. And because Steph isn't playing right now, Steph needs as many reps as possible before facing the favorite Phoenix Suns. So I think 2 rounds, if they are able to get through a couple teams, would be beneficial for Steph and the entire team, because you hear Draymond saying, I need reps, and he's come back, and Steph is still not able to be on the court. And being at home, I think, will just help Steph as well. Less travel for him, too, as he gets going here in the final week. He'll be ramping up And not only get this week, but then the playoffs for these guys don't start until next Saturday while the play-in tournament goes on. So a good weekend, a feel-good moment. That big hug was nice, and that Clay-like explosion, because it was like old Clay to see him hit 4 threes in a matter of a couple minutes. That was Warriors like for Steve Kerr and for everybody involved.
Yeah, this was a big victory, like you said there, and we're throwing this up here for everybody on YouTube. But the playoff picture as of today, Warriors holding on to third, and you said it, Tas. I mean, you want to be fourth over fifth, of course, to have home court advantage in the first round, but you really don't want to be fourth if you have plans to go very, very far. Because I wouldn't want to take on the Suns in the second round if you make it there. So keeping that second, like the Grizzlies, or third seed, you're liking your chances to get to a conference finals a lot more. So huge victory, and you see everything else going on in the both conferences there, with the Raptors falling to 6th and the Celtics up to 2nd. Lots of moving parts here. One team I don't see there. Where's the Los Angeles Lakers? That's weird. Not there. We'll get to that later. Just a few other winners. I'm just going to chuck them in here. Jalen Green is on fire right now. He plays for the Rockets, so nobody cares because, they're in the whole tankathon. But he's averaging 29 points per game over his last 6, and he's shooting 46% from 3 on 12 attempts. The guy's on fire right now, so it's nice to see him sort of have like this late season resurgence. I'm very excited to see what he can do. Like he's been compared a lot to Anthony Edwards in his rookie season. Slow start, got it going, and can he continue next year? So shout out to Jalen Green and the Rockets fans out there. Tyrese Halliburton, in a loss to the Pistons on Sunday, had 19 points, 9 boards, and 17 assists with 0 turnovers. StatMuse says he's the first player with multiple 15 assist and 0 turnover games before turning the age of 23 since like the dawn of the 3-point era. So that's pretty damn amazing. That many assists with 0 turnovers. He's done it a couple times. So Halliburton getting some love there from StatMuse. And then, we slipped it in there. The Mavericks getting a big win over the Bucks. I thought Luka was phenomenal in this game. This is a nationally televised game. He goes for 32, 8 boards, 15 assists himself, 3 steals. His third 30-point, 15 assist game this season, which is many as the rest of the league combined. And was just picking apart the Bucks. And it's funny, the Mavs, when all the role players are hitting threes set up by Luka, they look unbeatable. And when they have those nights where they're struggling, it's like, can they beat anybody? But this one, Dwight Powell was awesome. You had Dorian Finney-Smith hitting some clutch threes. And Giannis was like, I'm going on Luka. Give me him. And Luka's just going to he's just a surgeon. He just feels like he makes the right play every single time. It's just whether or not his guys are going to hit shots. So that was a big victory there. And Luka just has awesome numbers against Milwaukee in general. In his 6 games, he's averaged 27, 11, and 9 with 3 triple-doubles playing Milwaukee. Obviously not playing them a whole lot because they only meet up, at most twice a year, but incredible stuff there, Tas.
Yeah, he's a big game player. He's one of those guys, when the lights are on, he wants to play. So they were going at Giannis. He loved it. Even when the Bucks were setting a screen for him. I'm sorry, the Mavs were setting a screen for him. They wanted Giannis his guy, and that helped pull Giannis away from the rim, and that helped Luka just dissect everybody. That was odd to see the Bucks crumble like that defensively. And then they brought in Brook Lopez to try and stem the tide. Did not happen. There's some great stuff from David Aldridge on The Athletic about Jason Kidd and how he has made this Mavs team the second best defensive team in the league today. A good article on that. And it was also cool to hear Luka on JJ Redick's podcast when JJ Redick asked him, what's the first thing you look at when you bring the ball up? And Luka first said, you're making me give away my secrets. But then he told him, I'm looking under the rim to see where the help is, to see what's happening, beyond the first defender, because I'm eating that guy. So it's that's something that Steve Nash has said before as well. He's always looking at that second line of the defense to see where he's going to pick apart the defense. And it was just odd seeing the Bucks picked apart like that. But Luka can't do that. So I can't wait for him in the postseason. This team is quietly, you guys said that Luka's in the race for the 4th spot for MVP. It's totally true. I didn't know there was a race for the 4th spot, but it's a race. He is quietly brought this team into home court contention, which is obviously meeting expectations and beyond for the Mavs this season.
Yeah, they got to win a playoff series. That's definitely what their goal, I would assume, is.
Yes.
Also, I would have given the Mavericks like overall a winner of the weekend, but I think they lost to the Wizards there on was that Friday night? They just got hammered in Washington.
Revenge game.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just give the love to Luka there in that performance. And Dwight Powell played really great against Milwaukee.
Plays against the good teams. Don't need to beat
right.
those stinky teams.
Whoa, speaking of stinky teams, let's take our first break, and then we'll get to our losers of the NBA weekend. Tessie.
Well, I am here to talk to you about Saks underwear, and I'll start with their 2-in-1 shorts because I wore them when I played basketball a couple weeks ago. They were the only garment I had to put on, my bottom half anyways, because their shorts have a compression liner built in, so no need for additional underwear. I do the laundry in my house, so I love that. And they felt really good while playing because within that liner, they have Saks's patented ballpark pouch. What's a ballpark pouch? It's like a dedicated hammock for your balls that provides a little space for your undercarriage. And there's a lot less friction down there because of it. Less chub rub and less stink, I guess, as well. You know that feeling of relief when you take off your underwear at night? Oh, yeah, you get that all day with Saks. Just some relief. And the ballpark pouch is built into all of Saks's boxers or boxer briefs. And get this, guy, even their briefs. Because as the great philosophers, the Offspring, once said, you got to keep them separated. Hey, keep those balls away. And Saks keeps it ultra cool with their breathable fabrics. And remember, everything is backed by Saks's comfort guarantee. That's 100% satisfaction or your money back. Take advantage of our special offer today. Head on over to Saks.com/NoDunks and get 10% off plus free shipping using promo code NODUNKS. That's SAXX.com/NoDunks and promo code NODUNKS for 10% off and free shipping.
Let me ask you guys a question. Is the piece of plastic in your wallet doing enough for you? I doubt it. Because with the secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card, you can start building credit with everyday purchases and on-time payments. You see, with Credit Builder, members can increase their credit history with no annual fees or interest. And having a good credit score can mean getting better car loan rates or renting apartments easier. It comes into play in life. So continue your credit journey with Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes, and it doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/NoDunks. That's chime.com/NoDunks. And now it's time for the fine print.
Oh, yeah.
The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank NA, pursuant to a license from Visa USA. Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for the secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. Regular on-time payment history can have a positive impact on your credit score. Impact to score may vary, and some users' scores may not improve. Done.
New ad read beginning now. It's no secret we all want to look our best this spring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Skeets, you're in. Tas is in. Andrew, I assume you're in. Well, good news for you. Mack Weldon is the expert when it comes to stylish essentials, perfect for the new season. Whether you want to upgrade your sweats collection or if you need gear that stands up to the changing weather, Mack Weldon has exactly what you're looking for. I'm personally eyeballing Mack Weldon's Ace sweatshirts, sweatpants, and sweatshorts. Can't decide if I want to be a green sweatsuit guy or a blue sweatsuit guy. Then I've got to decide if I'm going infantry green, commando green, coolant blue, total eclipse blue, indigo dye, or night owl blue. What I'm saying is you've got options at Mack Weldon. So check out Mack Weldon for yourself and save 20% on your first order. Visit MackWeldon.com/NoDunks and enter promo code NoDunks. Again, that's MackWeldon.com/NoDunks. Promo code NoDunks for 20% off. Find your perfect look this spring with Mack Weldon.
Speaking of looks and fashion and all that, stick around for Tweet of the Night. We got a real good one. Yeah,
Speaking of Chub Rub, I've got a great ad read coming up in the second half here.
Excellent. We're pitching to our second half. Cool.
On. Chub Rub is such a good, it's too good.
Very good,
phrase, man.
Yeah, I got that from all the ladies I know in my life. It's a lady term. I've never heard a man say chub rub.
Chub rub. I'm in. I'm saying it all the time.
Wasn't there? I guess he played for the Georgia Bulldogs. Maybe he's in the NFL now. Wasn't there a Chub?
Oh, Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, yeah. He's still on the gridiron?
He's a Cleveland Brown.
Is he? Okay,
perhaps,
good.
yeah.
Nice to see him in the league. Go Dogs, except not. Okay, losers of the NBA weekend. Man, we have sometimes it's difficult, Tas, I think, when we get here on Monday. Like, okay, the winners, they popped out at us. Like, okay, that guy. Oh, that's that. Oh, that team. Losers can be difficult. I didn't think it was that difficult after this weekend because there's some pretty brutal teams and their performances. So why don't you get us started?
Yeah, well, the Lakers are obviously a loser. Here's the good news. I think this might be the last time we talk about them until LeBron wins the scoring title. But otherwise, as a team, I think we can finally stick a fork in them because they lost to the Pelicans on Friday with AD and LeBron. And then Sunday, LeBron out with a sore ankle. They lost to the Nuggets. So they are now entrenched in 11th in the Western Conference play-out picture. They're in the lottery. The Spurs are up 2 games on them, a full 2 games, but it's essentially 3 because of the tie break. So getting into the numbers, they each only have 4 games left. The Spurs magic number is 2. The Lakers' sked is so tough. So the only scenarios where the Lakers make it, the Lakers would have to go 3-1 with the Spurs going 0-4, or the Lakers going 4-0 with the Spurs going 1-3. That ain't happening. So it's over. It is over. I'm shocked because I figured just the way the Western Conference standings were going, the fact that they were probably one of the 10 best teams. That's what I thought anyway. It didn't happen. Obviously, the Spurs have overtaken them, and Anthony Davis thought the same, that they could just cruise in there. But his comments kind of irritated me after the game because he said it's kind of an odd way to say it, but he said, "quote What could we have been if I was healthy all year? LeBron, Kendrick Nunn." You think about those things. When we put this team together, we looked really good on paper, but we haven't had a chance to reach that potential with guys being in and out of the lineup. End quote. Yeah, the Lakers have only had James, AD, and Westbrook available together for 21 games this season. They're 11-10 in those games. But hello, you share a building with the Los Angeles Clippers, who haven't had their best player all season, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George for the majority of the season. And they just clinched the 8th seed in the Western Conference play picture. So good riddance. I believed for a while that this team could, get their guys back healthy and fight in a play-in tournament game at the very least. But it's kind of like what they did last year with the Phoenix Suns, but to a sadder degree. They were limping into the postseason. LeBron and AD weren't healthy. They got in, they played the Suns, and they got beat. And AD said this season while he was hurt, if I was healthy, we could have taken care of the Suns. Go ask them if that would be the case. Well, he obviously kind of got back healthy now, but they couldn't even get into the play-in tournament. So I just don't like the excuses. Just eat it for one day. They've lost 6 in a row. It's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen, because they got the Nuggets again. They've got the Warriors. They've got a really tough schedule, so it's not going to happen.
So that's it for the Lakers, Trey. You agree? This might be the last time we actually talk about them as a team, at least.
Good point. Good point. As a team, because LeBron still needs to play 2 games to win the scoring title. So I assume he'll get a couple of games in there because he's been scoring a lot of points when he plays, which is cool. But I really agree with Ryan here in the stream team, who says, did he actually say Kendrick Nunn?
That's like insane.
That would have been the difference. If Kendrick Nunn was healthy this year, the Lakers would have been play-in team like that. Maybe they would have actually finished in the top 10, but embarrassing stuff. For me, my greatest prediction of the season is going to be from our very last preview show. I picked the Lakers to win the Western Conference Finals. But then one of the questions we have, would you like to change any of your predictions? And I was like, I got to go with the Warriors. Something's just weird with the Lakers. It seems like they might have to start Wayne Ellington. And it was like awesome when they could start Wayne Ellington. Yeah. They just got a terrible team, terribly put together. And when they're healthy, they're not even good. Like you said, Tas, 21 games with their big 3 healthy, and they're 11-10. At least that's a play-in team, but the Lakers aren't trying to finish 500. So a disappointing season. we've got another week of the Lakers, and I think that that's going to be enough, because if you follow Lakers fans on Twitter, they're like, get this team off my screen.
Yeah.
Like I saw our buddy Dan Bailey's like, I'm so glad that I'm going to be overseas for the next week so I don't have to watch the last 4 games. It's just a disaster. They can't beat the teams they're supposed to beat. They're worse than the Trailblazers since they started tanking. Shout out to Tom Ziller for that one. The only way the Lakers keep losing these games is if they want to lose them, really. Like, there's no other explanation for that. They do not want to play in the play-in tournament. It's good. It's good that their season's almost over.
Yeah, and it's not like the San Antonio Spurs have gone on this unbelievable run since the All-Star break, like winning 75, 80% of their games. My God, it's like they're 500. There might be under 500, if I remember correctly from Ziller's newsletter. They're like right there. And it's like, yeah, the Lakers have just played one of the worst teams in the league since then. They are playing like a tankathon team. That's the insane part, Tas. And they don't have a pick, too. This is the best part. Like, the Pelicans are going to be getting their pick, it looks like. It could be like top 4. It's like a 25% chance or something hilarious. It could be really high. It's not protected at all. So this could even get worse for them if the ping pong balls fall the way of the Pelicans. But yeah, that loss on Friday night to New Orleans, which was like, really, that may have been the season right there. They win that, okay, they're probably still alive, but dropping that and then following it up with another one, whew, brutal. And then I'm glad you pointed out that AD and that ridiculous Kendrick Nunn line. Like, come on, man.
What if Nunn was healthy?
Yeah, what if Nunn was healthy? What a game changer Kendrick Nunn is.
We could have had Kendrick Nunn. It was like every time the Lakers would go through a bad patch, it was like the biggest joke with Harrison Feigen on Twitter. Can't judge this team until Trevor Ariza is healthy.
Yeah.
Can't judge this team until we see Wedgie and Gabriel out there.
Yeah.
The point of trading for Westbrook was so that when LeBron or AD misses time, somebody slides right in. You've got somebody ready to take up all those minutes. AD and LeBron missed a bunch of time, so you had to play Westbrook a lot. Here's your team.
Yeah. So, yeah, it looks like unless a miracle happens, Tas broke it down really perfectly there for us. They basically got to win on out. They got to go 4-0 and then hope the Spurs drop a couple of these games. But unlikely the first part that the Lakers would win all 4 of these games. So that if you've seen the way they've played over the last little bit, crazy.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't crazy to think that the Lakers would just sort of fall into the play-in tournament because the San Antonio Spurs are 33-45 and they're 10th in the Western Conference. Yeah. So it just felt like the Lakers could, be a stone's throw away from 500. Could sniff 500, but they're 31-47 and so far away from 500. And I looked into the Kendrick Nunn thing because I'm a Kendrick Nunn, I don't know, sympathizer, believer. I like Kendrick Nunn to some degree. Obviously, he's not going to swing a season. But I looked into their acquisitions, and Trey mentioned a bunch of them. Kendrick Nunn could have been their biggest offseason free agent acquisition. That's probably what it was. Malik Monk, I guess, is the other guy beside him. But that's what they did.
Let's keep it going here and talk about another team that had a brutal weekend. Stop me if you've heard this story before. The Jazz blew a huge lead. They collapsed at the end of the game. They started pointing fingers at each other because Tas brought it up when he was talking Warriors. But on Saturday night, the Jazz held a 21-point lead in the first half. Okay. And then, like they had the other night against the Clippers, had a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. And they blew it. Yeah, the Warriors caught fire. But my God, if you saw this, the mistakes the Jazz were making in this fourth quarter, throwing the ball out of bounds, airballing shots, not looking at their all-NBA guy in the paint there in Gobert. I'm sure you guys saw that clip go viral where, he gets a mismatch on Clay, steals him in the restricted area, and gets completely ignored with like 90 seconds to go in a very close game. The lack of belief between these guys, Mitchell and Gobert, it's pretty apparent on the court. It's pretty apparent off the floor when you hear their comments about what needs to happen when they blew all these games. One of them saying we got to move the ball more. That's Gobert. And it's Mitchell saying our defense needs to be better. It's like unbelievable. And these back-breaking losses now have dropped Utah to 6th in the West. They're only a game and a half up on the Wolves, who are in 7th. I mean, it's probably likely that they stay in 6th and they're actually in the playoffs, but Minnesota could steal that from them. And I said they were the most depressing team in the league a couple weeks ago, and that has not changed at all, Trey. They are it's weird because they play well enough to get big leads and then have these just collapses. And when it gets into crunch time, it's not pretty.
Yeah, they gave up an 18-0 run in 3 minutes. Yeah. Like, that's almost impossible to do unless you're going 6 for 6 from 3. But yeah, the Jazz just look completely broken, and even they say it's the same thing every time, and it definitely feels like that. It feels like Gobert kind of gets hung out to dry defensively. He's the only one who can play any sort of defense, it feels like, on the Jazz right now. And then offensively, he ain't going to get the ball. As the stream team is saying, Donovan Mitchell is allowed to pass to Rudy Gobert 2 times during a game. So if it happens in the first 3 quarters, you're in trouble. But I don't know. I feel bad for Gobert at some point because it's going to get blamed on him because Donovan Mitchell is the star there. And Gobert kind of goes out of his way to show his displeasure more. And he looks the worst when he's getting exposed defensively like he did. Like he has against the Mavericks, like he has against the Warriors when they're playing small ball and Wiggins just dribbles up into a 3 with nobody guarding him. It looks like it should be Gobert's man, even though he just happens to be the guy closest back, but they're not playing together. And I had to start thinking, like, are they intentionally trying to get down to the 7th seed at this point? Are they playing that poorly that they don't want the Mavericks? We know that they don't want to play the Mavericks. Mm-hmm. They don't want to play the Warriors, I don't think, because the Warriors will small ball them as well, especially once Steph comes back. Their best matchup is probably against the Grizzlies because they play big guys. So at least Gobert has somebody to guard because either they're just completely falling apart right now, which is most likely, or they're stealth tanking to try and get into the play-in tournament and play against the 2 seed and avoid the Suns until the conference finals. So I don't know. It's just, it feels like this is the end of the Jazz to me right now, unless they're pulling a big brain move here and somehow going to go from play-in to the conference finals.
Well, that would be crazy if they are trying to get down to 7th to beat the Clippers in a 7-8 matchup. And then,
I guess they would run into the Clippers. That could be bad.
I mean, I doubt that's what's happening here because I'm with you. Whoever they play in the playoffs, if they're in or if they're not, like, they're losing in 5 games, Tas. Like, I don't see how you could convince me otherwise. Like, they'll win 1 because Mitchell will be special or something like that. But it's the pointing of fingers and just like the vibe of this team is brutal. And it feels like we maybe are watching the last couple of Gobert Mitchell games here. It feels like that. I don't know what Jazz fans think. I don't know if they want that even. But if they lose in the first round or it's like not even a fight, then I don't see how they don't move off of one of them, especially with Danny Ainge in there now.
They don't want to play together. That's what the body language says. So why go forward with it? Rudy Gobert is an all-star, an all-NBA. He's sealing guys underneath, but he continues to get overlooked. This isn't just a one-game thing. They don't want to pass to him. And I know he is not a bucket. He's not a guy that they can just throw it to, but he's there. And they're not using him. And the fourth quarter, it's not just overlooking Rudy Gobert. They overlooked Mike Conley, who was having a really good game. And he just sort of sat and did nothing in the fourth quarter. Donovan Mitchell kind of just took it upon himself to be the superstar. But, yeah, Conley overlooked and Rudy Gobert overlooked. And even, Bojan Bogdanovic sort of overlooked. It was bad chemistry there. Very, very bad chemistry. Tony Jones broke it down on The Athletic, but even he is saying that there is no way that this team can go forward together. They get down, they don't fight back. They get up, they give up leads and don't fight back. I mean, they have enough talent to be what they are, but they're not anywhere close to their ceiling. So I don't think the playoffs are going to solve that. It's very, very unlikely that they're going to get it together these next 4 games in the postseason. So, yeah, it sure feels like they want to be broken up. And I don't know who goes, but this team is not playing like a team.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Trey, that Gobert generally takes a lot of the criticism, it feels like. But I feel like that needle is moving a little bit more and some more fingers are being pointed. I'm saying like the perception on Twitter or whatever fan bases and stuff are also like, Donovan, what's going on here? These shot selections and like you as the leader, quote unquote, of this team is pretty rough. So it's coming back a little bit more onto him. And I think rightfully so, too.
37% from the field, 18% from 3 in clutch minutes for Donovan Mitchell this season. And the stream team keeps saying that the Jazz are not an ensemble. That's exactly right. Yeah. Mitchell is a soloist, especially in the fourth quarter. He's like, we're going to win this game because of me. And the Jazz run into some problems because he's a little careless with the ball. I think he takes a lot of really tough shots that look awesome when he makes them, but he still misses them because they're really tough shots. And I mean, the stats are terrible. If you're under 40%, under 20% from the field, you probably shouldn't be handling the ball and taking every single shot down the stretch. But also, like, Conley struggled to start the season. He was good yesterday, went away from him, but I don't know, maybe the Joe Ingles trade really messed him up. He was obviously out for the year, but like having that guy in the locker room obviously has been helpful for the Jazz in the past couple of years, having somebody there to just be like making jokes and like having these two not be at their throats all the time, I think was probably valuable to them. And it's not there right now. And it just feels like it's crumbling.
Yeah, and then the stream team pointing out too, where's Quinn Snyder going next? Like, is he coaching Duke? Is he coaching the Lakers? Is he somehow still with Utah? Remains to be seen. But this season is just falling apart here for Utah as they limp into the postseason. Trey, let's wrap up our losers of the weekend. We've talked Lakers, we've talked Jazz. Who's the third team? Who's the trifecta here for a rough weekend?
It's the Brooklyn Nets, probably the weakest loser of the three. They lost to the Hawks. We talked about it. The loss dropped on the Nets into 10th place in the Eastern Conference right now. They've lost 4 of their last 6, which has pretty much coincided with Kyrie Irving being able to play a whole bunch more. And the bad stuff for me, if I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, is that this loss to the Hawks, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving combined to score 86 points. We saw a loss to the Grizzlies a week and a half ago. KD and Kyrie combined to score 78 points. We've said so many times this year, hey, if KD and Kyrie get hot, they can win any game. They can win any series. That's definitely true. But as we're seeing, they can also still get really hot and still lose these games because they're not getting much production from their bench. The Hawks bench completely outplayed the Nets yesterday. We're talking about plus minus, every single Hawks bench player was a plus. Every single Nets player was a minus. You know, they've got the easiest schedule remaining of the 8, 9, 10 teams there, Brooklyn, Atlanta, and the Hornets. There's a chance that Brooklyn could get up to 8th, but they could also just as easily be looking at 2 do-or-die games. And when you're in that scenario, like, you better have some solid performances from your role players because you need the role player. You need one role player. If you're getting 90 from your big 2, you still got to score basically 110 to win in the NBA. So, I don't know. Tas says the Nets don't care about the regular season. That's obviously true. They can elevate their defense if they need to, but this could end up being really bad for the Nets because I think they don't actually match up that well against the Hawks in particular because Kevin Durant's the best defender on the Nets. And the one guy he probably would not guard on the Hawks is Trae Young. So ain't a lot of defensive impediments to a guard for the Brooklyn Nets. They could get lit up in the playoffs if it's Trae and he's doing his shimmy and he's doing his ice tray. So I don't know. The Nets are a weird team. They've had a supremely weird season. They get big games from their big guys almost every single night, but the role players are still a roll of the dice. They almost did it last year against the Bucks. I'm a little less confident this year.
Yeah, Tas, anything to add there to the Nets weekend or them floundering here?
Yeah, they urinate in the eye of the regular season. They just don't care. They're ready for the playoffs. They say it after every game. It's strange that this team that has championship aspirations, has won, their leaders have won titles, just don't care enough about the defensive end during the regular season. Now, they had an excuse on Saturday without Bruce Brown, I think is sort of their energy guy, but
sounded like Kendrick Nunn there.
Yeah, I bet for sure they were just comfortable losing. They just thought, our guy's going to drop 55, and we'll be fine. I don't know what they do here in the last 4. They play they have that easy schedule as we mentioned with the Knicks and the Rockets and the Pacers and a Cavs team that's just stumbling along a little bit. So they could win easily 3 of those, but. Yeah, they could easily lose a couple, and no one would be that surprised. Just because the lights are on in the playoffs, does that mean their intensity level goes up? I don't know. I think it's I'm starting to not believe as much as I did before because, you can't just turn on the faucet as a basketball team. You just can't. So they're struggling. I want to also give a loser of the weekend before we wrap up here to NBA referees because we mentioned last week that they're getting singled out a lot of the time. People know their names now. And I think that referees should be taking advantage of that. I think they should sign a deal, sort of like NCAA players have signed, to make money off their names, their image, and likeness. They should. because, as I mentioned, our friend Diane Seton, our buddy Ryan Seton, his mom, Diane Seton's watching games and says, "Is that Tony Brothers?" She knows Tony Brothers' names. This weekend, Tony Brothers got called out by Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd, after getting tossed, he said, "Tony, he's thrown me out as a player, and now he's thrown me out as a coach." What I said to him was, "Whose ball is it?" And he took that personal, unfortunately, and threw me out. It happens. Imagine Tony Brothers. He can make a commercial about him tossing out players in NBA games. I mean, they should be able to make money. I know it's not like college players. These people actually get paid. But still, I mean, they're calling them out. Why can't they take advantage of their names? In addition, Natalie Sago, referee, was called out by Taylor Jenkins. He said, "I get tossed from a game, and it's next man up," because Natalie Sago, in the AP report, is being named as the person who tossed Taylor Jenkins. So I think referees should be taking advantage of the stripes. They should have their names on the back of their jerseys.
Not just the number.
They should. Let's get their union boss, Monty McCutcheon. Come on, let's make some money for these referees. I don't know why, but
this is good. This is good from Ziggy. I wonder how high some refs' names would land on the recognizability scale. Is Tony Brothers a more famous name than Dario Saric?
Good question. Could be.
I mean, I'd just be fascinated to know, diehard NBA fan, a casual NBA fan, whatever, like show them photos of refs and like see how many they could name. Like, I don't even know how many I can name. Like, it feels like I can name. I don't know. Off the top of my head, it feels like I can maybe name 10. But
yeah, 10 seems good.
There are many refs that I watch every night because we're watching so much basketball. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, I got no clue. But then, of course, there are like the few that you do, like your Ed Malloys and your Tonys and stuff.
Yeah, the role players players and the stars. You see Zach Zarba out there. Oh, I'd love to have a Zach Zarba jersey. Can you imagine if you could buy referee jerseys? Wow. Who would be the best-selling jersey? Probably Joey Crawford. I saw University of North Carolina. All their student section is wearing Michael Jordan jerseys, even though they weren't born when he was playing for UNC. So I think Joey Crawford would still be the one to have. A McCutcheon would be nice. You throw back McCutcheon.
Do you want to talk to Breaking T and maybe we could make some referee
get a ref shirt? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a faction of people that would be into it. People like refereeing, as in like the people who want to be referees. Those people. I mean, it's a small number, but those people would be into it. Those people would want to wear the stripes.
Let us know in the stream team. Let us know in the YouTube comments. Tweet at us. Do you want us to look into making some referee merchandise?
Workman would be a good
that would be selling
jersey. Because double meaning. There's it's Haywood, not Hayward. Workman, Dion Reed, but that's all right. Workman. Yeah, a couple meanings. Hard worker. I think Workman was working on the weekend. He's always working, man.
Yeah. A nice Mitchell and it's not Ness. Jeez, what's wrong with you guys today? You guys need Grammarly in your stream team comments. All right. Let's take one more break. When we come back, tweet of the night, and unfortunately for me, pick 'em results from Friday night and a little bit more.
When the moment for intimacy arrives, you need to be ready. Roman ready. Whether you've been in a relationship for years or you're just getting started, having the confidence that comes from preparation means you're free to enjoy the moment when the moment comes. Roman ready is confidence personified. It's the self-assurance that comes from knowing you've prepared yourself for the moment when intimacy arrives. Here's an analogy that makes complete sense. Taking Roman is the same as watching basketball, which makes intimacy the same as making a classic podcast. The whole process is straightforward, convenient, and discreet. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. And if medication is appropriate, it ships to you free with 2-day shipping. So go to getroman.com/nodunks today. And if you're prescribed, you'll get $15 off your first month of ED treatment. Make sure you're ready to have confidence and control this spring. Roman ready.
Sling is the best of live TV for the best price. It's everything you love about live and on-demand TV without the long-term contracts and hidden fees. With Sling, you get channels like ESPN, TBS, TNT, CNN, HGTV, and more. Plus, 80,000 on-demand movies and shows, 50 hours of DVR storage included, the ability to pause or change your subscription at any time, and so much more. Watch your favorite comedies, action, drama, and adventures, suspense and thrillers, documentaries. Oh, I love those. News and sports for just $35 a month. That's it. Wow, that sounds good. Sign up in 5 minutes and start streaming right away on your TV, your phone, and your tablet. It's the easiest and cheapest way to watch the TV you love, both live and on demand. Take control of your entertainment with Sling, the TV you love for a price you'll love. Try it free today. Go to sling.com. Restrictions apply.
All right, back with No Dunks here on a Monday. Andrew, my man, let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow. Twitter.
Yeah, tweet of the night. I nailed this one because I was watching a lot of television this weekend. A lot of basketball, some college sprinkled in, both men's and women's, and then a bunch of WrestleMania, which is like, I don't know, takes like 12 hours of your weekend at this point because it's on 2 nights. I watched a lot of it. Did I fall asleep during both of the final events on both nights?
What?
Absolutely right, I did. But I caught them in the morning. So yeah, so I mailed it in. So my tweet is from me at JE Skeets. It's a good tweet though, because Justin Bieber was at the Grammys last night. And I hope you saw his suit. And if you're joining us on YouTube, you're seeing a photo of it. Just Trey, a giant suit on this guy.
Big suit.
Channeling his Kuzma vibes with this suit. And I just wrote same energy, Bieber photo at the Grammys, giant suit, alongside a photo of my wife, Nora, wearing Shaquille O'Neal's jacket back when we were at TNT with the starters show. So that's Nora there in Shaq's jacket, and pretty damn similar. She's, she wasn't wearing the pants. She wasn't wearing giant Crocs that this guy had on too, these monster Crocs. But there it is, and that's tweet of the night, Trey.
Yeah, wild look from Bieber. You can't even see the guy's hands. That's the crazy part to me.
Crazy.
I mean, big pants, sure. He's got those gigantic Balenciaga boots. It's like I kind of want a pair of those boots so people get off my back with these tiny feet. He's got those giant boots. Nobody would say a thing, but like not being able to see your hands, you'd be able to sneak in so much snacks. I think maybe that's what Bieber was doing, sliding in there with some Sour Patch Kids, some Junior Mints, whatever you may have. But yeah, Big is back, Skeets.
Yeah,
Big is back. So maybe we gotta pull a heist over there, the NBA TV studios, get some of Shaq's old suits and just to wear them around.
I can't believe Big is back, man.
Big is back. It all comes around, man.
Yeah, grade 8, grade 9 Skeetsy's loving this though, because that's when my clothes were at their largest, and I was at my smallest basically, but the clothes were huge. I was drowning in those jerseys and jeans and all that stuff. Tas, I don't know. Did you have a big? Yeah. Oh, Tas, definitely. You had a big jeans phase. I remember that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they were functional. I could wear them.
Yeah. True.
Played the piano later at the Grammys. He's got his peaches out in Georgia. Yes, right, he does.
Yeah. Yes.
But he couldn't use that suit, obviously, to play the piano. Now, I would have liked to see that.
Change? Yeah.
Well, he took it off, I guess. I don't know what he had underneath. But yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, you can't play piano with those kind of sleeves.
No,
it's impossible.
No. You can't even roll them up. Like,
yeah, you're not rolling a suit sleeve. I've seen him wearing big jeans. I saw him wearing big jeans and a giant puffer jacket to a Lakers game. Yeah, looking like Fred Durst in 1999. As a casual look, big stuff, no problem. I like a nice tailored suit though.
Is it possible he was just cold and his bodyguard gave him his jacket walking in? That's like a shot on the red carpet. Boo! That is just boo from all sides. Terrible stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe he did. Who knows?
Brutal look, buddy. Look, I guess you wear it with some confidence, and people call it fashion. So, and people are pointing out in the stream team, really, Kyle Kuzma, sort of a trendsetter here with the giant sweater that he had on, and I think he was even wearing like a knit cap like that. So maybe Bieber was paying homage to Kuzma there. So Great look there from Biebs. Don't wear, he wouldn't be caught dead wearing that in Stratford though. He'd be laughed out of the city, Yeah.
Your suit's too big. Get out of here.
How are you going to eat your Rio Thompson candies in a suit like that, you fool? Okay, pick 'em results from Friday night. I'm not happy about this. This is brought to you by BetMGM. I'm happy about that part. Not happy about the result, though, because it was down to Lee and I. Somehow, I don't know what happened in this month. I felt like I was doing really well. I was in the clear, and here I am losing the month of March in a tiebreaker on Friday night's game, and it's my own fault. I picked first. Lakers were favored by 1.5 at home to the Pelicans. I took LA. I was like, to me, it was like, this is their game. Sorry, this is their season. Do they want to actually try and get into this thing, into the play-in, and maybe like whatever, make some noise? AD was back and LeBron was there, and they lose. They lost by 3. LeBron took a brutal shot late that I guess could have tied it if I remember correctly. But Lee wins,
Airball.
and I lose. I can't believe it. So I now owe another pick and payoff. Tas owes a couple, so we'll get to paying these off. But I can't believe that happened. I really don't know what. I was like, what? I'm like convinced I did it somehow, but no, I did. 11-12, my record. Still better than the Lakers. So there you go. Way to go, Lee. You avoided another one. Guys, let's call it there. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Oh, I guess I could say this. People might be wondering, where's tonight's pick'em? We're not going to do it for April. It's done for the season, Tas. Is that right? We'll put it to the side and kick it off in in October next season.
Yeah, we got to catch up on the old pick and payoffs.
True.
So, yes, it's over, and we don't do it in the postseason, obviously. So,
I mean, if we were to do it in April, we'd have 5 nights
1
or
week,
6
yeah.
days. Yeah, 1 week. So okay. That makes sense. So Tas owes 2, I think, still. I owe 1. We will get to paying those off. Don't you worry. And Pick'em will return. And we don't do it during the playoffs because we're too locked in, guys. Email in your NBA questions, though, to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, @NoDunksInc. Get yourself that Athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. $1 a month for up to 6 months for new subscribers. A little reminder here. No new No Dunks tomorrow. There are no NBA games on tonight because of that college final. Trey's got the sweater on there. Go Tar Heels, taking down Dookie in the Final Four. So what is it? It's Kansas and UNC. Is that right?
That's right. The Roy Williams showdown. So that's cool. That's
Who's
cool
winning?
for them.
Who you got?
I'm going UNC. I don't know. They seem to have been on a magical run lately. They had a big beef in their game against Duke. I don't know. I don't know anything about these teams, but Skeets, you said your clothes were at their biggest in the 90s. I'm with you. I got this shirt in 7th grade. And it still fits me. I've been an extra large for 30 years at this point.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But eventually my body actually filled it out.
Okay.
Is that coolant blue? Because you're talking Mac Weldon there earlier, and you're thinking about the jumpsuit you're getting. I think coolant blue is probably like North Carolina blue, because I think of coolant blue like windshield washer fluid blue. That's pretty close.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, coolant blue is very much that color.
So no games on tonight means no new No Dunks tomorrow. Though we do plan on posting our Best of March compilation from our guy Sergio on YouTube. So we'll have a little something up for you to kill some time. Those compilations, I mean, we have so much gold. Those things are 45 minutes to an hour usually. So there's basically be a whole new episode for you. So we'll have that up on our YouTube channel. But yeah, no new No Dunks because there's no NBA games on. Back on Wednesday though. And Tas, you got what's been your highlight so far of your couple days there at Disney World, or what do you have in store today? I know it's for your kids obviously, but has Tas Melas been whoa, that's cool, or no?
It's great. I've got a 2-year-old. It's great to freak her out a little bit because she just bounces right back. But rides that aren't, roller coaster rides, but they're, these rides that you barely need a lap bar. But she gets freaked out and she bounces right back. So it's been great to see her cry a little bit, just get a little shock value, and then she just jumps right back in. So there was an Anna and Elsa ride where you go forwards and backwards, and we were all a little startled. We didn't know we were going backwards. And she got splashed by some water, got it on video too. So perfect dad moment. We'll have that forever. She got freaked the hell out. Her eyes bugged out of her head. But my Zoe, my 4.5-year-old, was loving it.
She's
so
loving
it was
it.
all
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's probably the best thing. I mean, I'm going to be at the bar tonight. Unfortunately, that game starts at 9:20.
Yes, that's right. That's the
There's some
championship
Jayhawks.
part.
There's some Jayhawks fans in the building here. I don't know what a Jayhawk is, but I'll be hanging with them watching Kansas and Carolina.
So you'll be cheering for Kansas because of your new Jayhawks fans there.
I guess. I mean, I got no rooting interest, but yeah, they seem like cool fam. So I'll be with them. Yeah.
Okay, Andrew, let's bring you on here. Who you got tonight? Come on, break it down. You probably know more about college ball than all of us combined.
Oh, give me the Jayhawks.
Oh, why?
Abaji's been on like a crazy run here, so I think his shooting has been unbelievable.
Okay.
And he wants to be in the lottery. Let's get this guy in the lottery tonight.
All right, there it is. All right, let us know in the stream team. Jayhawks or Tar Heels? Who you got? Who's the favorite? Kansas? What's the line? 4.5?
They're a 1 seed. I imagine they're the favorites.
Okay, well, there we go. Should be a good game. Hopefully it's close. Will be back on Wednesday, if I have that right. Yeah, Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, live here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. And we really appreciate that if you leave your boys a 5-star rating and review as well. And like I said, Lily will be back, but we got Andrew all week long. Enjoy the game tonight. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, just going to use this quote from the quotatious 4 morning poops here in the stream team. Get upset, then just let it go. Nice Frozen reference, 4 morning poops. Great to see you again, 4 morning poops. Love saying 4 morning poops. Have I said it 4 times? 4 morning poops.
Brace your poops, people.
You could stay, ooh, every day, and I'd be happy every minute.